Welcome to Libertarian Drinking Coffee Live at a special time today, a little bit past 2 p.m. on the East Coast. I know usually we go 3 p.m., but today is special. We got a lot of stuff going on because some of you know we have some stuff going on in D.C. coming up here in a couple of days. But I don't want to talk about that. Not now. Today I want to talk about something that you will often hear me bring up because people complain to me all the time. They say, Larry, you libertarians, you guys never have anybody elected. You don't do anything except try some presidential blah, 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 blah. But no, that is incorrect. Very often we run locally and we sometimes even win locally. And to show that we are involved, we also get caught in drama. We do all the things that the people do all the time. And I brought someone today who can show us an example of victory, of winning, of being caught in drama, and actually becoming victorious over that too. I think all the things here, if I can bring, he's a council member out of Ohio, the man himself, Drew Werley. How are you, sir?
Good, sir. Thanks for having me.
Of course, guys, if you're watching this and you like it, please click the like button. Click the button that is like. You know it's important. Please do so. It's how we move this forward. If you want to follow what Drew is doing, you can follow him on either X or Facebook, either one of those, at Win with Werley on either. And if you're listening to this, Werley is Werley. So I got to ask the most important question, Drew. How did you win this thing? Tell me about your race when you won.
Well, it was a lot of hard work. I ran 2 years ago and lost. I believe it was only by, 24 votes.
I know the feeling.
So I learned a lot in that election, what to do, what not to do. I got a better team around me this time around. I owe a lot to my team, which is mainly close family and friends.
Teams are critical.
Yes, I think I tried to rely too much on social media the time before, and we got the boots on the ground this time and won by, I think, like 46 this time.
Nice. This is a victory, which I love, because people always say, well, libertarians can't win. No, yes, they can, and they do. So I'm very happy to hear that. But I have to imagine that once you went through this all, and the first loss had to make you feel like, wow, oh my God, let down, I let people down, all that stuff. What made you try again? Why didn't you say, you know what? I'm out. I can't do this. I'm out. Why'd you try again?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when I lost, it was a punch to the gut. I had never even planned on that as an option. But it happened, and I think they were surprised when I showed up to the next meeting to watch their council meeting, as I had been doing for years. I'm typically one of the only maybe two people that would be at these meetings. And I remember one of them coming up and going, what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, you think because I lost, I'm not going to be here, right?
Didn't we get rid of you already, Drew? I thought we got rid of you. What are you doing here? I thought we got rid of you.
Yes, it's impossible. It's funny now because I think they're trying to get rid of me now, to be honest. As soon as I got elected, I had assumed that they were looking for a way to remove me. It wouldn't surprise me. I think we got a little taste of that here last week.
That was my second piece, right? You kind of walked down the road I was thinking about, right? The first, I initially had to believe that once you lost, they felt good. We got rid of this guy. Good, done. And then you come back and like, whoa, what happened? And then now you win. I've never known any of the two parties to be, gracious losers. That's not been a thing they do. They tend to get extra angry at this point. So was there something obvious, or did you guys kind of know you were the black sheep?
Oh, are you saying, did I know I was the black sheep?
Yeah. Was it obvious, or was it like kind of, was it kind of like passive aggressive, or was it like, no, we don't like you?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious just for going on years, because I was the only one that was vocal at these council meetings speaking out about a lot of stuff they were doing, taking away liberties from people, infringing upon property rights, passing nonsensical laws that essentially just gave them the authority to check if you're already following laws that exist currently. They're big on that. I mean, I've spoke out at the majority of the meetings, and again, one of the only people that were there. But one thing that I knew I was going to be in rough shape was the very first meeting that we had. That new council will vote on their rules that they're going to operate under for that term.
Sure.
And I had brought up some issues with the previous rules, and these ones are very similar. They did change a couple of slight things, but I made a motion that we table the rules, operate under the old rules until we had a chance to actually review these new ones, because they were just presented.
So you actually wanted to read stuff before you voted on it?
Yes. And
I don't know what planet you're on. I can't even think that you actually
Right.
wanted to read something before you voted on it. Oh my God.
Terrible guy here. I wouldn't just rubber stamp everything, but when we first got the rules, I reached out to the clerk. I said, "Hey, who came up with these rules?" And they said it was the council president, and they conferred with our law director. And I'm looking through there, and some of them are the exact same as they were before, and there's a couple of new ones. Well, there are some, in my opinion, blatant errors. Not like we would disagree, but there's errors, there's redundancies they don't jive with each other. But the main thing I've always had issue with is it says specifically in our rules that each meeting of council shall have an open to the public.
Sure.
And it's, each meeting, so all of them, and shall is compulsory. You have to do it. And I've talked to the council president at that time, a couple of years back, about that, and he disagreed because, he said that's only for regular meetings. I'm like, well, that doesn't work that way, because elsewhere in your rules, you specify regular meetings and special meetings. So once you say each, it just encompassed all of it.
That's everything, yeah.
Yes, because if you wanted to only apply to regular meetings, you would have said regular meetings.
So that literally means he was like, but wait a minute, Drew, look, we want to hide stuff. And if we follow what you say, we can't hide all our grifting. And that's a problem because we're here to grift. So you're messing up our grift, Drew.
Well, along those lines, they also changed the agenda of the meetings, because you're right, in my opinion. I think you're 100% right. They
100%.
changed the agenda.
Hold on one second, Drew. I got somebody saying they need to boost your mic. Can you boost your sound? Is that possible for you to be louder?
Let me see here. I can try my best, or I can just start talking louder.
You can start. Yeah, you can yell at me if you want to. I don't mind. You can either move closer to your mic, wherever your mic is, or you can just start yelling at me. Either one works.
Yeah, but I got an AirPod in, so I'm gonna have to probably just start yelling at you if that works.
Okay, just yell a little bit. It's fine. No worries.
All right. Sorry about that.
So what I was saying is they want to grift and go behind closed doors so they can give away their stuff to their friends and stuff like that. That's what I see, and you tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're giving stuff to their friends, but
I am. I'm saying they're giving stuff to their friends. Fine. Yes.
Just want to clarify.
Yes.
I think that they do want to keep things, not hidden, because no one comes to these meetings, but they changed the rules, the agenda of how the meetings go, and they put the open the audience section at the beginning of the meeting, as opposed to later on. In my opinion, I think they did that so on the off chance someone comes, because nobody comes, that they would come in, say their piece, and leave. That's typically what happens. So they don't want them to linger around and hear all of the nonsense that they're doing, like spending millions of dollars here, going out and borrowing, $12.5 million for this. I think that's another reason why they changed it, which is right along the lines of what you're talking about of trying to hide things. It's still there. It's an open meeting, but they don't want you to comment after they decide what they're going to do.
So let me give you a comment from Patty. Patty says, I know a woman who won a seat and was told first day in office, we are getting you out any way we can. Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's true. They are really about that. Michael Voss says, no comment, a public comment should always be at the end before votes. Otherwise, how do they know they are representing the people?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yes.
This guy's on your side here, Drew.
Yep. Yeah, and that's kind of what ended up happening the other night is we had a special meeting, which they love to have. And they typically pass, I don't know the exact number, but I'll say without a shadow of a doubt, over 70% of our ordinances are passed by emergency. Well,
wow.
In Ohio, when you pass an ordinance, it goes into effect 30 days from then, as long as everybody signs off on it. If you pass it by emergency, it goes into effect immediately, and there's no way to petition it. There's no way to challenge it. The worst part was Ohio law is all you have to do is say it's an emergency.
Oh,
so
wow.
Say it's an emergency for public safety, and there's no way to challenge that. You can't say that's not true or any of that. You can't take it to court. There's no way to challenge that at all. And this last meeting, we actually had, that's always my question, is what's the emergency? Because
Right.
by default, every ordinance on our agenda is under emergency. And then we'll change it if it's not, which is rarely. But this last meeting, I even asked, what's the emergency on this, as I do with every ordinance. And they specifically said, there is no emergency on this. If council wants to do their 3 readings and pass it, that's fine. The council president goes,
wow.
So what do we think? We want to do the 3 readings or just get the ball rolling on this? And
Wow.
yes. And I voted.
They said the quiet part out loud. They were like, no. Yeah, it's fine. We don't care.
I voted absolutely not.
Right.
And he did say, make sure you get that in the minutes. Absolutely not. I said, I appreciate that, Mr. President. Because, I mean, obviously, I criticize them for passing everything by emergency when it's not. And here they specifically say it is not an emergency. And then they still all voted yes on it.
Yes.
I don't get it.
That's crazy. So Gene says, Republicans and Democrats always change the rules. How else can they stay in power? Not bad. True. Not bad. Yeah. Jordan says, the 2 parties do shady things all the time. We have to outsmart the 2 parties. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, but when that happens now, is there anybody else who, I guess my worry for this, Drew, is are you the only guy scrapping in there? Or do you finally have people behind you going, wait a minute, this Drew guy's right? Like, are people starting to come forward? Or is this really you kind of fighting by yourself still?
Oh, for the longest time, it felt like I was fighting almost by myself. I say almost because funny thing, like I said, is normally it was just me and maybe one other person at these meetings. Very rarely you might get 1 or 2 other ones. And there's another gentleman at these meetings years back. And after a couple of meetings, I'm like, this guy says a lot of the same things that I say. He's along the same thought path. I'm like, I need to reach out to him. So I look him up real quick. Lo and behold, he ran for governor in the state of Ohio as a Libertarian.
There we go.
The county, my town is split in half between 2 different counties. He's in the Lorain County Libertarian Party. And then back then I started the Erie County Libertarian Party. So it was funny when I reached out. I'm like, now I understand why we're on the same level here. Right. He's been around for forever and a day. So it used to just be, 1 or 2. If there's a specific thing that was affecting somebody, they might come, but most of the time not. But recently, some more people have been paying attention. And then with this most recent banning, it had a lot of people reaching out to me, which I fully appreciate their support. But I was surprised the amount of people that said, "Oh, I'm sorry this is happening," and I'm like, you know what? I like it because I don't like the drama, but it's shining a spotlight on all these cockroaches.
It's how I call you. Now. The drama is the second the drama happened. I'm gonna tell you why I reached out to you. The second the drama happened, people were bugging me. Did you see what happened to Drew? Did you see what happened to Drew? I don't know your local stuff. I live in New York City. How would I know what happened in local Ohio? It's because when the drama happened, I had 3 or 4 people go, Larry, I told Drew, this happened. I can't believe it. Can't believe it. That all came to me through either DM or text. It all came to me like, okay, let me reach out to Drew. I didn't realize it happened. So once I heard, I'm like, this is great. So I think you're completely correct. While drama sucks, there's some advantages here or there depending on how you use it. There is some depending on how you use it, 100%. So let's go to that drama, right? At one point, if I remember the story, you correct me. At one point, you go into the office building, wherever the government building is, for a certain reason, and you speak to a person there, a woman there, and then you leave, and then somehow you were threatening, you were a monster, gonna destroy the building or something. I don't know, but so all of a sudden you were basically Jeffrey Dahmer. All of a sudden, you were Attila the Hun, you were Joseph Stalin. All of a sudden, and you walked out and you were banned from the building. Did I get that right?
Something along those lines, yeah.
Okay, help me out.
Just to add the slightest bit of context to that, the meeting 2 days before that was that special meeting I was just talking about that we passed all that stuff. And again, I disagree with how they've been operating under our rules. And me trying to be the nice guy that I am, I had informed the clerk of council before that meeting, hey, I plan on doing some procedural issues in the meeting. I plan on calling point of order, that we're not following our rules. I said, I go, I'm sure the council president will say I'm wrong. I will challenge the rule of the chair. Hopefully I'll get a second. I probably won't. So I did that to inform her, this is what I'm going to do, so it's not coming out of left field. And these are parliamentary procedures that are used in almost every meeting around the world, right? And we do that, and just like I thought would happen, he shut it down, challenged the ruling of the chair, and then she said to the council president, there's no more conversation, which I was waiting for a second, which I knew I wouldn't get.
Wow.
Yeah, so that happened. The first chance I got after that to get recognized, I made a motion that we put open to the public on the agenda so that people could talk. Because again, hardly anyone that comes to these meetings, and we had probably 30 people out there in the audience that wanted to speak. At a meeting that we're going to spend almost $1 million. There's several ordinances in there that we're going to spend a ton of money.
Wow.
So I want to
30 people at a city council meeting is a lot of people who want to speak. That's a lot. You just get maybe one, maybe two.
Yes.
Get 30. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I assume that I'm not going to say that they didn't want to hear him speak, because obviously they did, because nobody would second my motion. Twice I made that motion to do that. They thought all the speakers wanted to talk about the fire department, because there's all kinds of issues going on there right now with that. And the fire chief wasn't there. So like, oh, it's not fair to have them, they said this afterwards, it's not fair to have them speak if the chief's not there. I'm like, well, we don't know what they're going to say because we didn't listen to them speak. Now I did. I stayed over an hour and a half after the meeting to listen to everybody that wanted to talk. But that's why the clerk's office is right down the street from me. I pop in there all the time. When I'm heading into town, a lot of times I pop in, say hi, and leave, because we're really cordial. We talk all the time. I talked to her the other day on our lunch break for an hour. And I was trying to get her off the phone, but she took 58 minutes. It's not unlike me to pop in there. So I popped in the other day, and I pop in. I'm like, hey, I was heading into town. Just wanted to say hi. A little disappointed in you. Have a great day. And walked out. And I don't even think it was an hour. Just under an hour later, I get a text message and an email. You're banned from the clerk's office. You're to have no contact with the clerk until further notice. And I'm like, what is this?
Oh my God.
It all went from
there.
Now,
I just want to make clear, Drew, just to be clear, you are not this woman's father, correct?
No.
Okay, good. So you saying I'm disappointed should not have crushed her.
I couldn't imagine why it would.
That's my point. Unless you were her father, I don't know why she would care, right? Yeah. That's the point. Okay, good. So we're clear on that minor detail. All right.
Yeah.
So she was that mad at you that she thought she should use the state against you and ban you.
I'm not even sure, to be honest, because I've never talked to anybody. I've reached out to the council president that banned me several times. They've never contacted me for my comments on what had happened or had transgressed. I've still never, when I first got that message, I asked specifically, what was this behavior? Because I was banned for my behavior at the office. I said, what was this alleged behavior? And are you saying I'm trespassed? And I don't know about you, but for me, when someone tells me I can't do something I'm allowed to do, I'm going to go do it. So I went straight back down there just to prove a point.
Right.
Now she wasn't there. If she had come there, I wouldn't have engaged in her, because that wasn't the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make that you can't ban me from public property.
Right.
And you can in Ohio, but you had to have broken the law to do that. And
of course, there's got to be some kind of due process, something. Yeah. A charge and the rest of something. You can't just decide, well, I'm mad, so you can't come on public property. It's not how that works.
Yeah, our mayor and the council president still try to say that the city clerk's office is not a public office. It's not open to the public, which I've been dealing with public records for almost 2 decades. I can assure you it is a public office. They are the holder of the records. You can walk in during business hours. Anytime they're open, the door's unlocked. You can walk in there and do public records requests. You can ask to inspect if they're readily available right then and there. I'm not sure. I think they're trying to say that it's not public to try and make it seem like, oh, we didn't ban him from public property. This is a restricted area, and it is restricted when they're not open. But
right, of course,
that, it's a public area. You can go in there.
Yeah, Jean asked a question. She says, "How can someone be banned basically from the post office?" She's right. You can't really do that. It's a public place. But yeah, I agree. Sam says, "Oh, go ahead."
I was going to say there are ways you could do that. And, if they would answer the phone and said, hey, if that's what you want, go trespass me. that's fine. Because
Yep.
I take them to court over that. You know, you don't want to
100%.
have contact with them, go get a TRO, which is
Yep.
not necessary because obviously if somebody feels a certain kind of way, I don't need to push that on them, especially
Correct.
someone that's not an elected official. They are a public official. They are paid for by tax dollars. So I wouldn't push it with them. An elected official, I'd probably push a little bit.
Right.
Not with someone that's
Yes.
not elected. It's, you know, they've been
Right.
serving for the most part. The council, the clerk of council, served this community very well for a long time. I think she's going to retire within the year or so.
Yes. Joe is teasing. He says, sounds like a red flag law.
I made comment to the local news. I said, you know, this reminds me of Trump. You know, take the guns first, due process later. That's
Yes.
exactly how I took it. I'm like, that's not how this works.
Exactly right. Sam says, how do our democracy types expect to have a democracy without public input and transparency? 100% yes. 100% yes. And the weird part is, Drew, you're the crazy guy.
Yes. Yeah. I'm the rebel rouser. You know, I'm the one that's trying to cause trouble. Somebody the other day said, oh, you're just rocking the boat. I go, you say I'm rocking the boat. I say I'm running from side to side trying to lower the lifeboats. I'm trying to save us. So if you call it rocking the boat, that's fine. I'm out here trying to save us from this. That's why I actually like that all this nonsense happened, because now people are paying attention, because most people would have had no idea that they didn't allow the public to speak. Now, this ban also happens to happen about 2 hours after I released the footage, the video of that meeting, where the 3 separate times I try to get the public to speak, and the community was not happy about that.
Of course, absolutely. So, but then afterwards, about a week later, you were then just unbanned. How did that work? Did they say sorry, whoops, anything? What happened?
No. So I reached out, like I said, when I first got the ban and asked those 2 questions. At the exact 24-hour mark, I might have been within like 1 or 2 minutes, I called the council president. No answer. Several hours later, I get a text saying, hey, I saw you called. Do not call me. I do not wish to have phone conversations with you because I don't wish to satisfy your desire to record all conversations.
Wow.
Because when the newspaper reached out to me, I told them, I go, anyone that knows me knows when I'm on government property, when I'm dealing with public officials, I record almost always. I'm normally recording audio and video, typically 2 separate ways. And so he said he doesn't want to satisfy my desire to record him. I rarely record phone calls. I record when I'm on their property dealing with public officials to protect myself from stuff like this for posterity. I have a feeling, had I not had a recording, that they would have tried to use whatever they would use to get me out of there, because they have the votes. If they wanted to, they could easily remove me from office, but they have to have a reason. So I would never dream to give them an inch of rope they could try and hang me with.
That is, that point is a critical one, right? The idea that how they can get rid of you. Yeah. And you have to, I bring this up all the time with candidates in general. You have to be perfect. They can be broken as can be. They can be terrible and grifters, doesn't matter, because they're Republicans, Democrats, does not matter. But someone who wants to care about liberty, who wants to care about the First Amendment, who wants to care about our rights, that person has to be perfect. They make one mistake and they don't get voted for. They make one mistake, they get removed. They make one mistake and they're blackballed. Oh, we knew Drew was always the crazy weird guy. That's why. Never vote for guys like him again. Vote back for us. I need a third house. So please keep voting for me. My second vote's not going to pay for itself. So you guys got to keep giving me money and get these Drew guys out of here. 100%. Patty said something which is interesting. She says, I was told unless you're squeaky clean and everyone you know is also, don't run for any office. It will all be brought up. They don't want anyone with new ideas in there. And I think that is an issue that I bring up. I don't know if you'd be squeaky clean. I'm not sure about that, but I think you have, to your point, you've got to be insanely honest. So even if you have anything in your closet, you got to open that closet up. You got to air it out. Everybody's got to see what's in your closet. You got to be honest. And I think that's what you're doing. Am I reading you right, Drew?
Yeah, it sounds about right. I mean, I knew, and I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to be on city council. I've been in the Libertarian Party. I'm a lifetime member, for a long time, but I never wanted to be out in front and have to do all this stuff. But when I started seeing some of the nonsense that was going on down there years ago, I felt the need and the duty to go out and fight for the people. I have these big, broad shoulders so that I can carry that weight, because a lot of people won't come out and speak out against things. But they need the city. They need them. Businesses and stuff like that. I don't need them. I don't care. They can come attack me all they want. I'll fight back if I need to. And it doesn't surprise me. The very first time I came out and spoke to council, 2 days later, I get a notice on my house for building code violations.
Of course you did.
Never had ever. Like, oh, imagine that. It does not surprise me at all.
Of course you did.
You don't need to be squeaky clean, but they will try and come after you for this, that, the other. And, we always talk about how we're not the biggest fans of the state. I'm literally fighting the state because there's 7 members. 2 of them are sheriff's deputies. 1 of them is a cop. And the council president, I'm not sure if he's still employed by them, but he was on the state parole board and was a public defender for the state for years. So I'm literally fighting the state over the majority of the council members are paid by tax dollar money.
Wow, that is crazy. Michael says, this is such an abuse of power, corruption, supported by enforced silence. Yes. That is a harsh thing.
They tried to. They tried to enforce the silence. Yes. Yeah. I didn't recognize their ban immediately. I made sure to let them know that. And I don't think I sent you the full email of my unbanning. He went on a long diatribe even after he said, hey, we've been unbanned. Never said sorry. Never said we shouldn't have done that.
Of course.
Goes on and makes 6 points still attacking me.
Of course.
And I'm like, imagine that.
So the point, we didn't ban you, but you're still a bad guy. So let's make sure that part's clear. We still hate you and you're still a bad guy, but we're not going to ban you this time. I get it. Ross says, everyone has skeletons. Agreed, Ross, but I think the idea is transparency, right? This is kind of what Sam was talking about, right? Transparency is key. I think that's the number one piece. I completely agree. I think that's, I'm sure that's got to be important to you, Drew.
Oh, 100%. As soon as I got that message that I was banned, instantly, boom, straight out there to the world. And they took huge issue with that. They condemned me for it, said that, now we have community vitriol all because of you. Well, no, it's because of you.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
You chose to, ban me from public property. And he made several points to make sure that, he's mad that I questioned his authority. Outside of the council room and council rules, he has zero authority over me.
Correct.
Zero. But, he thinks he does. Now he's mad. Anyone that thinks they have authority and they want to use that gets mad when it's challenged.
Absolutely. So let me ask the audience if I could for a second. Guys, if you like what you're hearing, if this matters to you, then do me a favor, do 2 things. 1, click the like button. It does matter. I know some of you are wondering, does it really matter? It does. The more likes you click, the more this gets out, the more people see it. So please click that like button. On top of that, if you happen to be watching on Twitter or X, retweet this, repost this. Let people see it, retweet, repost, so more people can see it. It's free, cost you nothing. Please do it. It is important. And one more thing, please follow Drew. Follow him either on Facebook or follow him on X/Twitter. He's at Win with Werley on both of them. And if you're listening to this, Werley is Werley. So, Drew, let me ask you, what's the future? What do you think the future is for you and or your city council? What's going to happen?
I'm not sure. I know one thing that's guaranteed is I'm going to keep fighting. You keep fighting for the people. I will, I even specifically said it. If we had a room full of people here that only wanted to say that Drew Werley is the biggest POS and wanted to talk bad about me, open the gates to them. They're here for a reason to speak. Let them speak.
Yes.
We get paid by tax dollar money, which I have a huge issue with. I don't like the fact that I get paid to be in city council. And it's not a lot, but I'm also donating half of my gross amount to the city pool. Obviously, I don't think the city pool should run a pool, should be privatized, but
still
as long as we do, and as long as we're running at a deficit, it makes my conscience feel better taking that taxpayer money to give it back to them.
Right. But I don't know. I mean, you're the one fighting for the taxpayer. So I think you're kind of the only one who actually deserves a salary. The rest of them should cut.
Yeah, they brought it up a couple of years ago about possibly giving a salary, and I said, no, absolutely not. I go, if anything, we should cut your salary. Clearly, you're not earning your keep. I doubt half of them read everything that's put in front of them. They clearly don't read the rules. Even the council president, with his understanding of the rules, and he's a lawyer, when I brought up that point that, each meeting shall have it open to the public, he brought up rule number 5, which goes over the agenda for regular meetings. I'm not sure how the agenda for regular meetings is your defense against why we're not having open to the public at a special meeting. But hey, all I can do is challenge the rule of the chair and not get a second, it looks like.
Right. And not, that's the worst part. Well, do you think in the future you may have inspired some others to join you on the council? You think maybe it's a shot in a couple years or whatever, whenever you do your next election, that you may get an ally with you? Is that possible? Or do you think you really were the exception?
No. So if you look back historically, I want to say it was like the last 8 elections or so, up until the prior one, not this most recent. Only I think 2 seats out of the 7 were contested. Almost every time you fill out the paperwork, you go down to the board of elections. Hey, congratulations, you got in because no one ran against you. When I ran, there was me and one other gentleman that ran contested races, and in this last race, all but 2 races were contested. So a lot more people are getting involved. And I think after this, we're going to have even more so.
So it's working.
Yes, I think so. 100%.
Nice.
And I came out and told people, I don't care if you agree with me or not. Come to these meetings, speak out, let them hear what you have to say. And even, again, if you don't agree with me, run for council if you feel like it. If you don't like what they're doing, do something about it. Because most times people try and say something when it's too late. We're already past that point of when you can change anything. And I've been trying to warn you for how long. So that's the good thing about how all this shook out, is that a lot of people are looking now. And especially because I've been putting out video clips of the meetings that we have. Like the 3 times that I tried to get the public to speak and they shut them down. It really shocked me that out of the 6 other members, that not a single one would second my motion. Now, the ruling of the chair, I don't think any of them know Robert's rules. I don't.
Of course not. Why would they bother?
And if they do, it's the slightest bit. I mean, clearly our clerk didn't know that there is conversation if you challenge the rule of the chair. Somebody gives a second and then opens it up for debate, and then we vote on it. But I don't know.
No, I don't doubt it.
The worst part, real quick, sorry, Larry, is
go.
right after that meeting, when 3 separate times I tried to get open to the public, 2 of the council members said to me, he goes, we should allow the public to speak. I was furious. I'm like, the time to do that was 10 minutes ago.
Yes,
I was mad. I go, do not come up to me and tell me that when 10 minutes ago you could have seconded it and we could have voted on it. Sorry.
Yeah, but that means they would have had to take responsibility.
Yes.
See, and that's the problem right there. They just want to get all the cool goodies with no responsibility. That's the issue. And I think the problem we have, and I'm glad you're doing this so much, because obviously this is not uncommon throughout the country, right? This is a microcosm of a lot of things. And the issue is most of the people in our elected bodies, whether they're an assembly or a city council or even our Congress, they're not required to take responsibility for anything. They just yell, other guy bad, what can I do? Other guy bad, what can I do? That's what they do all the time. And you're saying, no, you can do stuff. You can take responsibility. You can do stuff. And I love that idea that you're doing that. I really appreciate it. So, Drew, amazing. Thank you for what you do, brother. It's amazing.
I appreciate it. Thanks for reaching out. I was surprised when I got your message, because I didn't reach out there really to the world and try and bring up light to this. And that's what I told them when they did this. I go, first off, you picked the wrong one, because I will not back down. You picked the wrong time, because I'll be in D.C. next week. And libertarians are a contemptuous group of people.
Oh, yes.
There's not many of us that get elected. And then once we do, when you want to try and ban us, don't be surprised if you have an army of phone calls and emails and stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, especially when they said that the clerk's office is not public office. I go, if you get First Amendment auditors that see that, a lot of them, that's their sole job. They have millions of videos online of them going to public places and filming just to make sure that they can do that. That might be an invitation for some of them if they see this.
Literally, Joe said, First Amendment auditor. He literally put it out. Yes, exactly what you were saying. Joe was already reading your mind. He was already there. That is amazing. I completely agree. So, yes. So, I guess I'll be seeing you then in DC. That's good. I'm glad I'll see you there. Yep. That'd be awesome. So,
I'm excited to do a zoo.
Yeah, it will be a zoo. It's true. But I'm happy with what you're doing. I'm glad you're doing it. And yes, people reached out to me right away, because you're right. like Libertarian Twitter like knows each other. It's kind of a thing that we have. So yes, absolutely. So before we wrap this up, you gave me so much of your time. I appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, just, don't hurt others and don't take their stuff.
There we go. What a great way to wrap this
true.
up. I appreciate it completely. Drew, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. By the way, do me a favor if you're watching this now or listening. Once you're done watching this, once you're done and it's over, come back and put a comment. So if you were watching on YouTube, come back afterwards, put a comment. If you're watching on Twitter, come back, put a comment. Facebook, come back, put a comment. The Al Gore rhythms like it very much. So please do that if you can. I will see you. I'll be on tonight, 7 p.m., talking about DC.